September 16th, 1943. Torokina Airfield, Bougainville, Solomon Islands. Captain James Jimmy Sweat watches his wingman die. An F-4U Corsair spirals into jungle green, trailing black smoke like a burning fuse. The pilot's scream cuts off mid-breath, replaced by the flat roar of fire. That makes 3 this week for VMF Tuathoit, not to superior Japanese machines, not to engine failures, to wasted ammunition. Sweat has the film to prove it. Gun camera footage, he fires 400 rounds at a 0 from 300 yards. He sees tracers wrap a perfect coffin around the enemy, above it, below it, both sides, an envelope of death with nothing in the middle. The 0 slips through the gaps. Sweat's guns go dry. 2 minutes later, that same 0 shoots his wingman out of the sky. Across marine fighter squadrons in the Solomons, the math is brutal. Despite the Corsair's speed, climb, and 6 50 caliber Brownings, 3,000 rounds on tap, kill ratios hover around 3.2 to 1. Pilots are emptying belts and landing with maybe 1 hit for every 50 rounds fired. The problem isn't courage, it isn't the guns, it's gun harmonization, the invisible point in space where bullets from those wing guns are supposed to meet. Factory spec, 1,000 feet. At that range, the 6 guns, spread across 16 feet of wing, paint a 30-foot circle. A Mitsubishi A6M0 spans 29 feet. At 300 miles per hour, you are threading a needle with a sledgehammer. VMF Tuathoit, the Hellhawks, has the worst ammo-to-kill ratio in theater. 890 rounds per confirmed. At this rate, they won't run out of enemies, they'll run out of bullets. Major Gregory Pappy Boyington, visiting from VMF 214, watches Sweat's film and shakes his head. "You're shooting at ghosts," he says. "Your bullets are everywhere except where the enemy is." What Sweat doesn't know, what no pilot knows yet, is that in a hot tent on the flight line, a 26-year-old aviation ordnance man is watching the same film. No degree, no engineering title, just a wrench, a brain, and a bad feeling. His name is Staff Sergeant Michael Mickey McCarthy, and the idea forming in his head will turn the Corsair into a meat grinder. The invisible enemy gun harmonization is as old as wing guns. Angle the barrels inward so the streams converge at a chosen distance, the sweet spot. Hit the enemy squarely at that distance, and 6 guns print on 1 target at once. Devastating. On paper. Vought sets the F-4U's convergence at 1,000 feet. Engineers have reasons, give pilots time to aim, lead properly, and fire a sustained burst as the bandit crosses the zone. A compromise between range and probability. Combat shreds the compromise. Most fights in the Solomons happen at 200 or 400 yards. At those ranges, the pattern is still a 20-foot wash. 0s slide through like fish through a net. Squadrons experiment 800 feet. Better, 600. Better still, but still too wide at the distances Marines actually shoot. Then comes the hard line from above. Do not set convergence inside 500 feet. Reason? Wing structure. The mounts are canted inward already. More angle means more recoil side load on the brackets, more flex in the panel. Stress fractures, failures, wings shedding guns. Lieutenant Colonel William Millington puts it in writing. Gun convergence below 500 feet exceeds safe structural limits for the F-4U airframe. Engage at optimal range. Translation. Don't blame the equipment. Shoot better. But shooting better doesn't change physics. September becomes a blood month. 47 Marine fighters lost in the Solomons. Gun camera analysis shows 78% of those losses follow a pattern. Pilots run the belts dry without achieving killing hits. Dozens of non-critical strikes. No terminal damage. Japanese intercepts mock them. The Corsairs are fast, but their bullets scatter like rain. Stay close. When their guns empty, attack. The enemy is baiting Marines into wasting ammo, then killing them while they're dry. General Roy Geiger, 1st Marine Aircraft Wing, addresses squadron commanders on September 14th. We have the best aircraft. We have the best pilots. We are losing because we cannot hit what we shoot at. I need solutions now. No one has one. Not the pilots. Not the manuals. Not the engineers. The Corps needs a miracle. They're about to get a sergeant with a wrench. The man with the wrench. Michael Joseph McCarthy doesn't look like a savior. South Boston. Garage kid. High school over early. Joined the Corps for pay and chow. Became ordnance, the men who feed guns, fix jams, count links, and sweep out brass. 8 months with VMF 213. His guns always run. No feeds, no stutters. But he's just enlisted. Officers plan tactics, engineers design equipment, ordnance maintains, except Mickey watches every film, reads every report. He knows the numbers better than anyone. And he sees the same thing over and over, tracers wrapping enemies in a halo with a hole in the middle. September 17th. He asks for the F4U Technical Manual, Harmonization section. The armory clerk blinks. Ordnancemen don't read engineering specs. Mickey reads it 3 times. Then he walks to Bureau number 123, Sweat's Corsair, measures gun spacing and angles. 6 guns spread 16 feet 3 inches. He sketches on the wing with pencil stubs. Rough trig in his head. He grew up aligning headlights by hand. This isn't that different. And the insight hits like recoil. The problem isn't that convergence is wrong, it's that it's too far. At 1,000 feet, a 50 cal bullet spends nearly a full second in flight. A 0 at 300 mph covers 440 feet in that second. Pilots are aiming where the target was, not where it is. Bring convergence into 300 feet, and those rounds arrive in 1/3 of a second. The bandit moves 50 feet, not 400. Lead becomes solvable at combat rhythm. More important, at 300 feet, the 6 streams don't paint a garage door, they stack into a dinner plate. He does the energy math rough and dirty. 1 second, 6 Brownings at roughly 800 RPM per gun, 80 rounds into a 6 square foot patch. It isn't shooting anymore, it's concentrated destruction. At that density, a 0 doesn't get hit, it comes apart. There's just one problem. Every memo says 300-foot convergence is unsafe. Wing mounts will crack, panels will tear, guns will rip themselves loose. Mickey looks at the brackets, looks at a pile of bent wing parts, and decides. He isn't asking permission. Night work, September 18th. The line goes dark. Mickey wheels 117-883 into the hangar with 2 enlisted men, CPLO Eddie Wilkins and PFC Tommy Reyes. Sweat's plane, worst ammo to kill of any pilot in the squadron. Perfect test bed. Factory settings angle barrels gently inward. Mickey needs about 2.4 degrees more to converge at 300 feet. Too much for stock mounts. So he builds new ones. He cuts 1/4-inch steel from a damaged wing panel, files and bends reinforcement plates by hand, and welds them over the mounts. Ugly. Strong. He crafts a wooden alignment jig from scrap lumber. Sets a frame exactly 300 feet down the hangar line. Bore sights each gun to the same pinhead. Locks them down. Checks, rechecks again. L4, September 19th. He test fires 20 rounds per gun out over the water. No cracks, no creep, no flex. The plates hold, the guns sing. If it works. Morning patrol. Sweat walks out to 17883 and stops cold. The barrels are canted visibly inward. McCarthy. He asks quietly, "What did you do to my guns?" "Adjusted convergence, sir." "To what distance?" 300 feet. 300. Sweat stares. "That's against regs. That's unauthorized modification of—" "Yes, sir." "If this doesn't work, I'm court-martialed for flying an unsafe aircraft. You're court-martialed for sabotaging equipment." "Yes, sir." Sweat looks at the guns, then into the jungle where his wingman fell 3 days ago, then back at McCarthy. "What happens if it does work?" Mickey allows the smallest of smiles. "Sir, you're going to kill everything you look at. Start the plane." The first test, earweight 30 hours, September 19th, 1943. 4 Corsairs from VMF 213 intercept 9 Zeros escorting 6 Vals over Bougainville, 4 against 15. Bad odds. Sweat dives from 18,000, picks a lagging Zero, lines up at 400 yards, still outside convergence. He doesn't shoot, closes to 350. Still no. The Zero starts to jink. Sweat keeps coming. 300 feet, 1 second burst, 80 rounds. The Zero doesn't take hits, it detonates. The entire tail shears off. Fuselage snaps, fuel ignites. Debris blooms so large, Sweat has to brake right to avoid flying through it. He keys the mic. Holy mother of... He doesn't finish. Second target, 300 feet, 1 second. The left wing tears clean away. Third, 280 feet. Half-second squeeze. Canopy bursts. The plane tumbles into a death spiral. 200 rounds. 3 kills. 45 seconds. His wingmen are still rolling in for their first shots. The fight lasts 4 minutes. VMF 213 splashes 8. Sweat gets 5. He lands with 1-800 rounds still aboard. There are 30 men waiting at shutdown. Pilots, mechs, officers, staring at the inward barrels like they're looking at a loaded secret. Major Wade Britt, CO of VMF 213, walks straight to Mickey. Sergeant, what did you do to Captain Sweat's guns? Set convergence to 300 feet, sir. 300. Britt's voice is flat. Through the crowd pushes Lieutenant Colonel Millington, the man who forbade anything under 500. This is a direct violation of my orders. Those brackets will crack. The wings will fail. This aircraft is unsafe. Britt raises a hand. The aircraft just flew. 1 flight proves nothing. Millington snaps. Stress accumulates. This sergeant has endangered lives and violated... Sir. Sweat cuts in, calm and lethal. I shot down 5 with 200 rounds. Before today, I needed 400 to maybe hit 1. That's not the point. I still have 1-800 rounds left. I could have killed 10 more. Hansen, another pilot, steps forward. Sir, permission to modify my guns the same way. Denied. Millington fires back. We are not engineers of convenience. The hangar erupts. Pilots shouting to change, engineers shouting about structure, safety, chain of command. Someone yells, court-martial. Someone else yells, kill ratio. Britt whistles, sharp and final. Silence. Sergeant McCarthy, he says evenly, can you modify every Corsair in this squadron by tomorrow morning? Millington turns red. You cannot authorize with respect. Britt says without looking at him. I'm not asking your permission. I'm asking McCarthy if he can do it. Mickey nods once. Yes, sir. Then do it. Every aircraft. 300 feet. Tonight. Millington glowers. I'll personally report this to General Geiger. Good. Britt says. Save me the trip. And just like that, the center of gravity shifts. Not in a headquarters, not in a factory, but in a hangar where a sergeant with a file and a torch just changed the Pacific. Through the night, VMF 213's ordnance crews work until their hands shake. Sparks, weld smoke, oil, salt air. Reinforcement plates hammered to shape. Jigs built from scrap. Bore sighting done by lantern and stubbornness. By dawn of September 20th, 22 Corsairs wear 300-foot convergence. And the Japanese have no idea what is coming. Empress Augusta Bay, 1140 hours. 8 Corsairs intercept 12 Zeros and 8 Betty bombers over Empress Augusta Bay. Lieutenant Robert Hansen rolls in first, picks a Betty at 350 yards, closes to 300 feet. 2 seconds, 160 rounds. The right engine explodes, the wing folds, the bomber scythes downward, trailing a 300-foot pillar of flame. Hansen brakes left, lines up a Zero. 1 second. The cockpit disintegrates. 2 kills. 15 seconds. 240 rounds. The fight lasts 12 minutes. VMF 213 records 15 confirmed, 9 Zeros, 6 Bettys. Japanese losses 100%. Marine losses 0. Ammo per kill 180 rounds. Last week it was 890. Gun cameras stun everyone. The convergence doesn't look like 6 guns. It looks like a beam. Wings come off. Tails vanish. Cockpits implode. Aircraft die so fast the film stutters. The radio traffic in the Solomons changes tone in a single day. By September 22nd, every Marine Corsair squadron is asking for the mod. By September 25th, Boyington's Black Sheep adopt 300 feet. By October 1st, every F4U in the Pacific Theatre runs McCarthy's harmonization. The scoreboard changes overnight. Before, VMF 213 kill to loss 3.2 per 1, ammo per kill 8190. After, VMF 213 11.3 per 1, ammo per kill 82. Combat effectiveness 94%. October 17th, Jimmy Sweat meets 6 zeros over Vela Lavella. He kills all 6 in 4 minutes, expending 980 rounds. He lands with 1,320 still on board. November 11th, Hanson downs 5 in 1 sortie with 750 rounds, lands, rearms, and knocks down 3 more that afternoon. The Japanese notice. A captured pilot tells Marine Intel on October 24th, "Before, we could dodge. Now, when they fire, there is no dodging. The bullets are like a solid wall. We call it concentrated death." Intercepted transmission, November 3rd. Warning to all units. American fighters have new guns. Fire is concentrated like a laser. Previous evasion ineffective. Do not engage Corsairs below 500 meters. Between September 20th and New Year's Eve, Marine Corsair squadrons in the Solomons claim 487 confirmed for 43 losses, 11.3 to 1, matching the Corsairs' eventual war-long reputation. Ammo efficiency improves 368%. Pilots stop going Winchester mid-fight. Survival rates jump. For the first time, Marines can engage, kill quickly, and still have bullets to get home. And somewhere in a maintenance tent, a sergeant keeps welding plates no one authorized.